Welcome to another Saturday night on Taking It to the Nub. I'm your host, Jimmy. And tonight, well, I just spent 15 minutes with Johnny preparing for the show, and it's going to be, well, there's going to be shenanigans. There's definitely going to be shenanigans. There's definitely going to be some drinking, and there's definitely going to be cigars. So I'm going to give you everything that was promised and then some. Now, our guest tonight, John Rima, is also known as Johnny Smokes. Johnny Smokes is the founder of Johnny Smokes Uncut Cigar Group on Facebook and Instagram. And I would like to give a warm welcome to John Rima, a.k.a. Johnny Smokes.
For position, not
Johnny,
what is up?
how are you doing? I told you
Good.
some shenanigans, so.
Oh, it's about to get real up in here. I'm telling you.
So the first thing we want to do, I was talking to you earlier, you already have a drink, so we agreed on doing like maybe gin martinis. So I think you already got one. But before we get all started, I got to make mine. So I just want to show the world how I make a Boston Jimmy lightly dirty martini. Extra dry, shaken, not stirred. So I start off with blue sapphire. And I love this blue sapphire because it's got 10 different botanicals in it that it's infused with. It's such tasty gin.
Yes.
You can drink it straight if you wanted to. We're also going to include a little bit of Martini and Rossi extra dry vermouth. For those that don't know vermouth is a kind of a wine that has been infused also with botanicals. This actually, I think there's like 46 different botanicals in
Right.
Martini and Rossi. It's amazing. And of course, we're going to need some olives. I like the pimento olives.
Yes.
Cheapy ones and all of that.
Yeah, I know. I hear people talk about the blue cheese. That's sacrilege. It's like
No, you don't want that. So
it's sacrilege.
and I get the olive juice right out of this.
Yeah.
So the way this is going to start, you got to get some ice. All right. And we're going to take some ice. This is the fun part, right? So we're going to put ice in the glass.
Yep.
Just like that. And what we're going to do is we're going to take some of this vermouth, and I'm just going to pour some vermouth in there, and I'm just going to spin this around.
Nice.
Okay? Now I'm going to set this aside for a little bit. I'm going to put that
Okay.
on. Now what we're going to do, we're going to take some more ice. All right. We got our shaker. We're going to put not that much ice in the shaker.
Gotcha.
Because really what we want to do is just kind of chill down the gin, heavily chill it. Now we're going to take the gin, this shot glass, which is a New York City Police Department shot glass I've had for years, got from a friend of mine up there before he retired many years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually 2 ounces of liquid. So we're going to drop in 2 ounces of this and just a tad more because I am an extra dry guy, so I like a little extra.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. So I like those extra pours. And we're going to take the vermouth and we're going to just use not even like a third of a shot glass. That's all I need. So we just throw that in there. And then lastly, we're going to take just some of this olive juice.
Oh, juice.
Just a little bit, drip it down. On the side there, in there. Now remember this right here, it's still chilling. We'll just move this around a little more.
Gotcha.
Okay. I'm gonna take this and we're gonna shake the shit out of it.
Yes.
I lived in Japan, and one of the cool things about the Japan guys, they love making cocktails because they can shake their stuff and they do a dance and all of this.
Yeah.
It's super, super chill. Okay. Now I got that done. The important thing now is remember this glass with that vermouth in it?
Yep.
There
you
I
go.
don't need that. What I need is just the film of vermouth around this.
Mm-hmm.
The strainer. And we just pour it right in there. See? By the way, never fill the glass all the way to the top because 2 reasons. One, you need to add some olives. So let's add a couple of olives in here. I like 3 olives in mine. I
Yeah,
usually have
That's what this one has, Jimmy. 3 olives.
Yeah, I usually have the stick. I didn't get a
Yeah.
stick. Yeah, I forgot about it.
Anything other than that is a salad. You don't need that shit.
Exactly. So there we go. I do 3 olives. These are pretty big olives. So just picked that up today. And there you go. That's a Boston Jimmy.
Well,
Completely dirty, extra dry.
here's to you, brother.
It's
Salud.
to you. Thanks for joining the show.
Oh, glad to be here. It's not a Boston Jimmy, but it's damn delicious.
I've been waiting all day for this since I went and bought the ingredients to go do this. All right. Now, let's get on with the show. What are you
Let's do it.
for the show? What are you smoking there?
Oh, Jimmy, I am smoking probably one of the tastiest cigars I've ever had in my entire life.
Oh,
And this is called the J Train. So I'm a little biased, but I love this cigar. And since you were nice enough to invite me on, I wanted to make a splash. And so I figured, to hell with it. It was either an Opus X, a Padron, or the J Train. So I figured, fuck it, we're going to go top shelf J Train.
all right, all right.
But yeah, it's a great cigar. I'm happy with the blend. And I have this for you, my friend.
Awesome. Ooh. On the train. On the train. I'm actually about to fire up something that I'm not sure if a lot of people have had this yet. It's just hitting the stores now. This is the Casa Cuevas Patrimonio. Patrimonio being father, right? Father figure. And they're naming this after Lewis's father, who was instrumental in the family and growing the business over the many 100 years and so that they've been doing it. This is not your typical Casa Cuevas cigar that you may have known in the past, which is medium body. This is full body, full strength all the way through. You're going to love this cigar if you like that profile. So we'll talk. We could talk about that another day. There'll be a review on this coming out, but
Nice.
this, I said in my notes, I felt would pair perfectly with one of these martinis.
Well, Jimmy, did you ever try? You had this one, didn't you?
Nope,
Are you serious?
not yet.
All right. Well, I am going to send you 2 of those so you can freaking do the Boston Jimmy.
Do my thing with it.
Yeah, just work with it. Just work with it.
I'll do the thing that I do best.
Yeah, there might be a 50 spot in there so I get the good review. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that will never happen to me.
I'm telling you, you'll love it. I'm seriously messing when we're
I've
done
heard
here.
really good things about it. Right there, the pepper on this just opens the nasals, opens the throat. You can just feel it. It's just nothing but pepper in the beginning, but it's going to tone down. Let's get back to Johnny.
Oh God, here we go.
John Reamer, born and raised in Pennsylvania.
Yes. Born and raised born in Allentown, Pennsylvania. And basically, besides a stint in the military, been in this area my whole life. So I love, it's not sunny California or busy New York, but I call it home. You know what I mean?
So does Billy Joel's song Allentown?
Yeah, it's funny.
Mood, the feel, vibe?
The Billy Joel song, they called it Allentown, but the Bethlehem Steel is in Bethlehem. You know what I mean? So that's what the big thing that we always talked about, when that song first came out, it's like, you're talking about basically Bethlehem Steel. So why the hell are you using Allentown? You know what I mean?
If they use Bethlehem, they think you're talking about over in the Middle East.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell they're talking about, but it is what it is. It's a nice area. And I showed you before we came on the wonderful people here with me who are from the area. And hey, I call it home. I love it. Sometimes it drives me nuts, but it's home.
Where are you broadcasting from right now?
Right now, we are at Best Cigar Pub in Drums, Pennsylvania. This is called Best Cigar Pub. But of course, everybody may know Best Cigar Prices, their online sales stuff. So they were nice enough to, if you don't mind, I'm going to give another show around the room, everyone.
Wow, let's meet everybody.
They were nice enough to give us the conference room, and these wonderful people are crazy enough to hang out with me. And they were like, let's do it. So we are up here. And if you guys can see out here, there is a shit ton of people. This is the upstairs too. There's actually the bar and the lounge are downstairs, but I want to give Best Cigar Pub a shout out for letting us hang here. Laura, if you're on there, which I don't think she is, she was supposed to be here, but no, I'm sorry. She had a prior engagement. But she said she wanted to be here, but this is where I'm at.
If anybody there is watching this on YouTube right now, just send the link out put the link out on Facebook and see who joins.
Yep. It's already taken care of.
And tell them to comment because there's prizes next week.
Oh,
okay.
There we go.
But they have to comment on YouTube because if you can't
give me any comment.
Just any comment, but I can't see who likes it on YouTube. They keep that private. So you were in the military. So talk about your military experience, when you joined and when you came out.
Well, it was funny. It's like, I've had a lot of people ask me, why the U.S. Navy? Yeah. What was the thought behind the U.S. Navy? So growing up, I wanted to do the military, even at a younger age. I was like, I want to go in the military. I hated school. And not that I did okay at school. I wasn't an A student, but I wasn't a simpleton either. So I wanted to go to military. And the easiest way to put this is the U.S. Navy. When I turned, I was 17 years old. They were the Navy recruiter was the first one to knock on my dad's door. I'm like, all right, I'm in. So that was that. I was like, I'm in the Navy, and then did boot camp out in Great Lakes. And from Great Lakes, went to San Diego, California, where I was on the USS Brooke, FFG-1. It was the first guided missile frigate in the fleet. And before that, it was actually, believe it or not, Jimmy, the FFG-1, it was prior to Vietnam, was a destroyer escort. It was DE-1. And then they changed it. So it's funny when we see the reunion stuff going on, there's a bunch of, we call them tin can sailors that were a destroyer escort. And then there's the newer guys like in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and they retired it and they put it in mothballs. And it was a great ship, great guys. It was funny. It was like maybe 250, 300 guys on board, small frigate. And then what I did is I went to what they call A school. For a lot of the veterans out there, they may know what an A school is. And I went down to Orlando, Florida I was a signalman. Those are the guys with the flashing light, Morse code, the semaphore, all that other flags, and I went to school for that. And then my next command was the USS Mississippi. CGN 40 Nuke Cruiser out of Norfolk, Virginia. And you talk about it's almost like, how do I equate going from that ship to that ship, Jimmy? Is take a fucking bumpkin that's never seen New York City, and he's in a town of 100 people, and then drop him in fucking downtown New York City, Times Square. That's what it was like going from that frigate to that new cruiser for me. Because you're talking, we went from, like I said, about 250 guys to just over 600.
Okay.
So to me, it was a big thing. And like I said,
At least they didn't drop you on an aircraft carrier. That would.
Oh God, I would have died. No, it's see, the thing with A school is it's depending on how good you do, there's a bunch of jobs, and the better you do, you get to pick what you want to do. Now I was on the West Coast. I wanted to do East Coast. I finished out of 32 guys. I finished second in my class, and I got to pick. And I was just like, in Norfolk, I wanted to do something different. So it was a new cruiser. I was like, all right, let's do that. So I picked that out. And but on my first ship also, I'm a shellback, which means for all you guys out there, I crossed the equator on the USS Brooke. So I am officially a shellback, not a polywog as they call it. I don't know if anyone knew that. So, but like I said, it was a good time in, and you hear a lot of people, hey, we knew was the shit you went through is like, we were lucky enough, Jimmy. There was no war back then. Like I did, I went down to Australia on my cruise, and I did. What years? 84 to 80, 84, 87.
3 years.
Yeah. So no, 84, 85, 86, 87. 4 years.
4 years.
So when we did the Gulf, it was just steaming around, and we were not at war, but what we were doing was ship guarding. Iran and Iraq were sort of going at it. They were.
Oh yeah.
So we did ship guarding. So, like I said, thank God we didn't see any war. We didn't see any of that crazy shit. Like some of our guys are, have been seeing in the last few years. I've been blessed to stay out of harm's way, and it was a great time, and I would do it all over again in a heartbeat.
So while you were doing and doing service for our country in the Navy, around that time, I was actually designing the future weapon systems that you were going to use.
Nice.
I was actually my first job. I was responsible for designing. This sounds rather sophisticated, but I'll just put it this way: the control logic for the high voltage power supply for the Aegis weapons missile cruiser transmitter system.
that ship with the Aegis is so remarkable. And the thing is, Jimmy, is I think a lot of people who are non-military people do not understand how amazing that is. That ship, the Aegis cruiser, and what it can do, and the capabilities is it's hard to even explain to people.
Some of it I still am not allowed to talk about.
Yeah. Well, that's why I said I'm remarkable. You didn't hear me go
40 years ago, and I still got friends of mine up in Raytheon that work on that. But yeah, and then my whole career went down that pathway. So I ended up staying in military defense complex for 20 years and designing really cool stuff that helped the first Gulf War. I got fingerprints all over that, and I'm very happy that we saved a lot of lives, and they were
awesome.
This hardware. So, it comes from both sides.
Absolutely.
Out and build and work with warfighters to understand what they need in the field, because sometimes we think we know what they want, but you got to talk to your customer, right? Yeah. And our customer was the warfighter, whether it was the colonel general or whether it was the sergeants, the master sergeants, the deck mates, whatever it is you're working on, you got to talk to the people that are doing it right now and what's their problem and pain involved. Now, when you got into this, so you had 3 years. Did you get into smoking cigars in the Navy?
No, believe it or not, I said not that I want to call it regret, but if there's things that you could go back and change different, like I said, Jimmy, is like there's a lot of countries I was in that cigars were huge in, you know what I mean? That I wasn't a cigar guy back in my late teens, early 20s. I just wasn't. You know, the cigars creeped into my life more, I want to say late 20s, early 30s. You know, and then just to give you guys a parameter as of June.
Premium level or
yeah, 55 years old. So no, it was like it started out, it ramped up. And it was like this, and then all of a sudden, once I don't even know when I could say it happened. I went from a glide to straight up in the air. I just went like batshit crazy over cigars. You know, it was something I did probably, like I always told people here, is like my dad, who's gone now, he had 2 heart attacks and he smoked cigarettes, but then he wanted to compensate for that, so he'd smoke machine maids. So, you know, I would smoke cigars with him, machine maids, and that's sort of where it started. And then it got higher and higher, and then next thing you know, I'm smoking a shit ton of cigars and sitting here with Boston Jimmy. You know what I mean?
That's kind of how it was with me with single malt Scotch. I was drinking regular Scotch there for a while, and well into my like very early 40s actually. And a friend of mine, God rest his soul, he had his 40. Actually, he was just turning 40, so I would have been about 36 or so, 30, 35. And he got a bottle of like 35-year-old Macallan.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, it's amazing. And I never had, so he pours out some for me. He says, "You got to try this, Jimmy." One sip of that, I said goodbye to Shivers. I said, "Hello, Scotland." And it's like that. I went to the store and I was trying different scotches every week, testing it out. And I have to, say I've been to Scotland and I've been to places that I've had the experience of having some.
Jimmy, how old are you?
I'll be 62 in 3 weeks.
Okay. So you're not that much older than me.
No, getting, I'm staring down at retirement from my regular job and, staring up at Stogie Press and Cigar Life, continue to go on with that.
Nice.
How did you get connected in to work at Cigars International?
Well,
and what do you do at Cigars International? Because I never see you there. I always see you always popping up.
There's a whole story, which I've shared with you. I don't give a fuck. My life, Jimmy, and there's great things, there's bad things, there's indifferent things. My life's an open book, and anybody here that can tell you is I don't sugarcoat anything. Hence, Johnny Smokes Uncut, and that goes along with my life. Is like I'm not afraid to tell people about the good times, and I'm not afraid to tell them about the bad times. And actually, working at CI came from my divorce. Okay. So I was always a customer of CI, and when it was the single downtown store in Bethlehem, little store, maybe about the size of this room that we have out here.
A lot of people don't know this because they think of CI as this ginormous online connected to cigar bid, non-brick and mortar. So thank you. Go back and explain that little.
Yeah. And that's the funny thing is like. CI, yes, it right now it's almost how to phrase it. Think of the guys that did here. Think of the guys that made these Apple phones. You know what they did? They were sitting in their fucking garage and they were coming up. What should we do with this? They were sitting in a garage. Okay, they were sitting in maybe a room no bigger than this, and then they said, "Hey, why don't we do this? Why don't we do this?" And then they kept going from place to place to place. Next thing you know. The Apple phone is worth billions and billions and billions of dollars. Oh, dude, keep that. Thank you. That's okay.
My bad.
Danielle's back in the house bringing me another tasty martini. But anyway, but the thing is Jimmy, CI started out of this, and it wasn't that store. It was actually on the south side of Bethlehem, above a fucking hardware shop. That's where CI started. Nobody knows this. Let's just say a lot of people don't know it. Were you ever at that one? Locals know it. A lot of people out there, they think CI just came in and they just came in. We're going to throw $1 billion down and make this freaking thing huge. Screw the little guy. No, that's not how it started. It started out a little shop on the south side of Bethlehem.
One local guy.
It was one local, well, it was Keith and John.
Oh, Keith and John.
Keith and John started it, which they're not there. They sold the company, but they started at this above this hardware store. Then they moved it to where they had more access to shipping. And then what they did, they got out of that and they had this store downtown historic Bethlehem. That was what I call, in my opinion, that was the original store. And it was a small shop and they would do things. And these guys, they just weren't, they were college buddies, if I'm not mistaken. And they came up, they had a dream and they ran with it. And they turned, like I said, they turned an idea into a powerhouse. That's what these guys did. And for all the people who hate on CI, it's like, hey, listen, they were just
American
like
capitalism at its best.
exact perfect way to say it, Jimmy. Perfect way to say it.
What you do, you grow a business.
And now what did they do? They sold to Scandinavian Tobacco. They made their money, and it was they put their hours in. Like I said, I know Keith, and before I started working at CI, me and Keith and John were very close. They were the nicest guy in the world. Like when you went in there, he would never forget your name. If you walked in, now this is a guy that even after they grew and grew and grew, you'd walk in and they would treat you like you were a freaking a millionaire. They would treat you like gold. John, come here. Like when I was at Cigar Fest, I wasn't working there at the time. And an area they had roped off by the bar, and it was for the manufacturers. And I was walking by and I hear John, and I look over, it's Keith, the owner of CI. And he's waving to me. I wave, I say, hey, what's up, Keith? And, I was going to the bar to get a drink. He goes, get the fuck over here. Lifts the freaking thing up, get under here. Next thing I know, I'm freaking rubbing elbows with Rocky Patel. You remember, I was new at the time, Rocky and Nick and all these other guys that were there. And this is how Keith and John were. They were down-to-earth guys that took something small and grew it huge.
Yeah. And that is how the best of the best have started.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
Started with nothing. They grew it. They built it. And an old friend of mine always told me the only reason you start a business is to sell a business. You grow it to sell it. And then because if you can do that, then you have succeeded in business and you could do anything.
Right. And to fast forward, what we're talking about. So I was in the midst of a divorce, Jimmy. So what I would do in my spare time, if I'm not working, I call it job number one, is I would sit at local shops like Lena sitting to my left over here, New Tobacco Village. I would sit at her shop. And then I would go to sometimes Famous and, of course, CI, because that CI was actually Lena's shop was the first shop that I went into before she owned it. But then when CI came along, I spent more time at CI and they lost a couple people, and the manager approached me and he's like, hey, we need people. Do you want a job? And I told him right out, no, I don't want a job. I don't need a fucking job. I have one. So he's like, all right. A couple weeks goes by, he's like, John, I got to talk to you. Listen, you're here more than the fucking furniture. We need people. You can, you know what I mean? Whatever you need, we will do. So I gave him what I needed, said job number one takes priority. If I have to work late or leave the job, I'm leaving. And he's like, done. He goes, now you have no issues. You're on. And then that was actually June. Actually, the day after my birthday, I turned, my birthday is June 20th, and June 21st this year, it was 3 years at CI as an employee. And
3 years at CI this year.
So, yep, this year's 3 years.
Yeah.
So it's a great group. Love it. And I just love the group.
Fantastic. That's a great introduction to your life and what you've done. We're going to take a short little commercial break here to shout out to the sponsors. And when we come back, we're going to talk about J Train. So today's show is brought to you by, tee this up. It's brought to you by Tarazona Cigars. Tarazona Cigars, they do it with passion. That's not just a phrase. Anybody that knows Eddie Tarazona, they know that Eddie is passionate about cigars and has always been passionate. His premium long leaf handmade cigars are each rolled to the highest quality by masterful rollers. They take pride in the quality and the craftsmanship of every cigar that goes into every box of Tarazona and Carabello cigars. Their ultimate goal is for you to enjoy a fine cigar with good friends, or for all your momentous occasions, or just kick back and enjoy a perfect day. You can follow Tarazona Cigars on Instagram and Facebook, and check them out at www.tarazonacigars.com. Today's show is also brought to you by the Cigar Clowns. The Cigar Clowns is a Facebook group that is out on a journey to find the perfect cigar. If you're lucky enough to get your hands on one of their limited releases, you know what's up, and I could tell you, I know what's up. They do find some amazing cigars. If you haven't had one yet, stay tuned to their page, and when a run drops, they'll go quickly. They have short runs. They find these down in factories, and then they go out and they're gone. So good conversation, great people, and smoking cigars. We'd like to welcome all brothers and sisters of the leaf who share the same love as we do for cigars. So check out the Cigar Clowns on Facebook. Join their group if you haven't, and you too might get your hands on one of the next drops. Show today is also brought to you by La Jolla del Chan. La Jolla del Chan, a dream come true for wife Gabby El Chan and Liz, his wife. They want all hands that work the tobacco leaf in their home country of Puerto Rico to have the same opportunity to expose their products. They call it La Jolla del Chan because they cultivate part of their product, and at some point, they want to be able to supply the world with their native tobacco leaf. The pride that Gabby and Liz feel is the same pride of all those who work the tobacco leaf, and for this, they deserve a portal that represents them. They want to thank everyone for supporting their country. We will resist, they say. You can check out El Chan Cigars at www.lajolladelchan.com and on El Chan Cigars at Instagram and Facebook. And lastly, today's show is brought to you by Platinum Nova Cigars. Platinum Nova is a family-owned and operated premium cigar company. Only the highest vintage tobacco and the most skilled hand workmanship go into the making of each premium Nova cigar, resulting in a timeless blend of art and craftsmanship. The Nova brand and the family's work are a tribute and an honor to their grandfather to always remember him and his infinite wisdom for the finest cigars. Their love for cigars started with their grandfather, a dedicated master blender and entrepreneur in the cigar industry. So the next time you're looking for an exquisite cigar experience, pick up a Platinum Nova. You can check out Platinum Nova Cigars at www.novacigar.com and on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. And while you're at it, if you go to their site, novacigar.com, and you use the code Boston Jimmy, that's Jimmy with an IE, 15, you can get 15% off your order right now. So I want to thank my sponsors. Without them, this show is always a little harder to do. Let's get back to Johnny Smokes. J Train, baby.
Yes.
Yeah, toast.
Hey, look at this, Jimmy. You're still on number one. I got the deuce.
I'm gonna get you talking a little. I'm gonna go mix another drink as you're talking.
All right, well, we got it. All right.
First thing about it is you just heard a few of my sponsors. They have tobacco in their blood. They have tobacco in their family. Many of these fine tobacco products we smoke, many of these cigar companies have roots that go all the way back to Cuba. What's your root?
My root is, I would say, because I don't want to make it sound like I'm some guy that was been in the fields getting his fingers dirty or anything like that. Mine stems, Jimmy, from passion. That's all it is. I'm not going to make it sound like anything more than it is. It's just passion for these wonderful cigars. And like I said, I saw some of your sponsors. I've had the Nova. Leo's been a guest on our show, on Johnny Smokes Uncut show. Eddie Tarazona was a guest. The Clowns are great guys too. I'm telling you. So you got some wonderful people sponsoring your show, and that's absolutely amazing. But for me, it was more for passion, and it was just with that passion. I've had people ask me about, like the J Train, which I'm smoking right now. It's like, when are you going to make a cigar? When are you going to make a cigar? And it's like, I just started the group, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, let me start the group and get my feet wet with that. And then I talked to my friend to my left here, and who's also included in this wonderful cigar, Kevin Kythen from Protocol Cigars. And he suggests, he goes, John, you can do this. One thing I'll talk about Kevin is, if there was one person who's been super supportive, pushing me and guiding me, I'll tell him, through the deadly waters of the cigar business, is Kevin Kythen. And he said, you could do it. So we hooked up with Eric Espinosa, and we came out, we tested some blends, and we came out with this absolutely amazing cigar, which I'd have to say, the feedback, what do you think, has been phenomenal. What we thought was going to be a 200 bundle run, and that was it. It came in a bundle of 10. Look at that, guys, right there. Isn't that sexy as shit? So it came in a bundle of 10. The initial release, Jimmy, was a Caravan Cigar, 200 bundles. Sold out in 8 hours. 8 hours, it was fucking gone. Nobody could get them. They were done. That's how
that was
great. And we actually got another 100 bundles on top of that, which were delivered. They're gone. Yeah, in fact, yeah. Lena bought 20 bundles. She sold out of the second 100.
They just fly off the shelf.
Hey, we are blessed. Our group is blessed that this thing has just been, well, put it this way. First of all, Eric came up with what we wanted. We had an idea. He gave us blends that we tried, and we came up with a great idea, and we ran with it. And like, the best part is, like, Kevin and Juan from Protocol, they gave me carte blanche. And not saying I'm taking the whole credit by myself, but they gave me the carte blanche because they said, John, which Kevin was like, this is your cigar, your idea. But like I said, I always bounce, my thoughts off Kevin. In fact, everybody in here, it's like, that's the one great thing about the Johnny Smokes Uncut the group, is like, I'm not afraid to ask anybody here or anybody on our group, what do you think of this? And see, that is where you grow a group and you get good input, because listen, when you're getting like a bunch of input, it was great. But anyway, so we ran with it, and it's
so let me hold it 1 second. So you got some input. Now, did you have in your mind, like when I did my 60th birthday cigar 2 years ago, I knew in my heart and soul exactly what I wanted. After all my years of smoking, 42 years, I knew what I wanted as wrapper, binder, filler, the whole 9 yards.
Right.
Just kind of left it in the hands of the factory to take care of it. And I told them what it should taste like. Did you have in your mind what leaves and what profile that you?
Jimmy, profile, yes. Leaves, no. I know I wanted something majority Nicaraguan. I'm a Nicaraguan guy. You know what I mean? That's if of all the cigars I smoke, and not to take anything, there's wonderful Dominicans, there's wonderful Honduran, there's wonderful Costa Rican, there's wonderful Cuban, there's wonderful American. I wanted, with my palate, with Eric, I knew what I wanted profile wise, not leaf. And what I did is, when I tried this cigar, I wanted, to go back a second, was I smoke a lot of cigars. I smoke 5-6 cigars a day. Okay. On an average, some days more, some days less. You know what I mean? If I'm sitting in a casino, having a drink, playing a little bit here and there, I may smoke 6-7 cigars, who knows? So I wanted a cigar, which I always tell people is like everybody out there that knows me is I post a lot first thing in the morning before work. I go to the gym, get back, take the pictures. I wanted a cigar that would not blow my head off first thing in the morning. And I wanted the same cigar that I could smoke 2-3 cigars after that, pick it up, smoke it, and be like, I can taste this damn thing. And even after 1 or 2 cigars after that, at the end of the night, smoke it again and be like, this is damn good. So that was where my thought process was. I wanted something that could stand up first, second, third part of the day. That's what I wanted.
And you put it in the hands of Eric Espinosa.
Yep.
And he was able to produce probably some samples for you. So for folks that may not be familiar how the general process works, right? He
Right.
would come up with different things, and he would try them. And you went back and forth, and you eventually settled on the blend you're smoking now.
Yep.
What is that blend now?
The wrapper is a Nicaraguan Corojo wrapper, Nicaraguan binder filler, and a Nicaraguan Honduran, or Nicaraguan binder, Nicaraguan Honduran filler. So that's this beautiful, beautiful cigar right here.
So you got some spiciness and some earth coming through that.
Yep.
How overpowering is that Corojo spice that runs through it?
It's, you know what, the majority, it's funny you say that. The majority of people that smoke it say it's a good, solid medium with maybe a hint on the fuller side. But like, Jimmy, as you know, everybody's palate is different. You know what I mean? I could smoke this cigar and say, this is medium to full. And you could smoke this and say, this thing's mild as shit. What the fuck are you saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, I want to say the majority, they said it was definitely a solid medium on just this side.
Yeah.
To go like that. That would be the best way to put it. It wasn't full. It wasn't mild. Most people are like right down the center.
What kind of nuances do you get in that cigar?
Well, for me,
special aroma nuances.
When you first put it in your mouth, any Espinosa, you know, Eric. So you put this in right top of your mouth and your tongue, you're feeling this little bit of pepper right away. Okay. So you're getting that right there. So you're getting that Espinosa oomph, as I call it. So you're getting that. Now, best part, lighten this up. The retro comes out of your nose smooth. It doesn't burn. That you don't get that where your eyes are watering. It comes through nice. It's smooth.
And in the very beginning, or when you get into it?
I've been doing that this whole thing, and I've been getting that. In the beginning, I'd say it's maybe a little less, but as you get in, it's just a hair more, but not much. It's consistent. That's what I love about this damn thing. And that's why I think a lot of people love it, because yes, it does do. I like a cigar that changes up a little bit. It does this. I don't like a cigar that does this and then this and then this. And it's like, it's like, oh, I'm tasting steak. Now I'm tasting pizza. Now it's a salad. Now it's a Dr. Pepper. I don't want that fucking shit. I want smooth. You know what I mean? Like a nice ass. Ooh, you know what I mean? So that's what I like. I'm an ass guy. I can't help it.
It's okay. We won't hold it against you. When you think about that cigar, if you were to create another blend called the J Train 2 or the J Train coming or past, would you?
Hold on, Jimmy, you know what I'm going to do for you? I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to include you in a little bit. What do you think, Kevin? I'm going to throw it out there. Jimmy, I want to give you, it's somewhat of an exclusive, and it's in the future. But I'm going to put this out in your show that you said another blend. Down the road, it's a little ways out. I ain't going to say when. The F train is getting built as we speak.
Yeah.
And as everybody that knows this guy right here, the F stands for fabulous.
The F train. So this one's gonna really mess your head up.
It's gonna be.
It's not,
I don't
it's
wanna
not
go
for
through
your
it. I can't
beginner
give,
smoker.
I can't give too much away, but let me
Not
just
going to
say
be
this.
for your beginner smoker based
No,
on.
I'd have to say it's definitely not for your beginner. I want to say it's more of an experienced smoke. It's not crazy, blow your head off. That's not what we're going for again. But it's one that, Jimmy, like I said, I want you to try the J train. Like I said, I told you I'm going to ship you a couple. I want you to try it. And then when the F train comes out, you're going to try it. And then I want you to tell me.
Holding you to it.
Do it, please, please.
You talked about retrohaling. Do you do a lot of retrohaling in your cigar?
Nope.
How often do you retrohale on a Robusto or a Toro?
Well, this here is a Robusto right here. I retrohaled maybe 2-3 times through this cigar. Once in the beginning, once sort of middle, and once at the end, just to get that through there. You know what I mean? Because the thing is, Jimmy, is like, especially if you're doing a stronger cigar, if you're retrohaling, you know what you're doing. It's like, perfect example, when you're testing colognes, what do? You got to put your nose and fucking cough. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost the same thing. It's like, why do you want to keep squirting and squirting and squirting? No, easy.
It burns the follicles. It hurts the follicles.
Exactly. That's why you see some guys, no pun intended, they look like a fucking freight train, whoosh, whoosh.
It's a chimney. They're just whooshing it out all the time.
It's like, what the hell are you doing? It's like, what do you with if your next cigar, if you're going from a medium to full like that, you could go to anything and you're going to be like, I can't really taste this. I can't. No, it's like, I want to enjoy it. I'm not there to, I want to enjoy it. Cigars were made to be enjoyed. That's why it's like a couple retrohales. Get the taste of it. See what's going on. And like I said, let me say this, my own personal opinion. Like, you could get some guys in the industry who are monsters like Raphael, or AJ Fernandez, or Nick Perdomo, and they may tell you, we retrohale 100 times. If they do, God bless them. They know a lot more than me. But I know for John, I'm only doing like 2-3 times a stick. And I'm a Robusto Toro guy. That's what I do.
What I like to do is I like to fill the palate. I like to press it against my cheeks to smoke. And then whoosh it out. And then inhale air. And then feel it all around. So you'll activate all those flavor molecules when you do that. You'll get more flavor out of your cigar.
All right.
You'll try that. It's a proven fact.
Jimmy, I remember you actually, we were on another, I think were we on ours or Dojo, or we were something when you came up with that, and I tried that. It actually is pretty damn good. So you brought that up once before, and that was pretty damn good.
And people, they and take your time. One of the things I'll tell you what, years ago, I got called out for chiefing my cigars. I had a friend of mine. I was at his place up in Detroit, in his backyard, and smoking cigars. And he looked at me and goes, Jimmy, you're chiefing your cigars. I said, what the hell does that mean? He goes, you're smoking them too fast. And I'm like, oh, okay. So, I kind of slowed the roll. And then when I got into this World Championship contest,
which you did well. Hey, hold on. Everybody in the place. Let's give Jimmy a hand. He did well.
It was an experience. But most importantly, it really taught me to slow even more. Now, I don't ever want to touch the flame to the cigar once I light it. So I never want that cigar to go out. So a new cigar, I might smoke a little faster than I would if I smoked that cigar 5 times. Because once I learned the cigar, once I dated that cigar 5 times, I know what she likes. I know what she doesn't like. And once I got that, slowing it down, and some of my recent reviews, people, may have noticed that some of my like Robustos are hour 40 minutes easily. Like we're upwards of an hour 50 many times now, because it's just working smooth, doesn't go out on me, and I'm good. I'm getting more flavor out.
Yeah. Jimmy, how many contests you been in with the fastest smoke? You ever been in any of those?
The fastest smoke?
Yeah, you ever see people, it's like get just plow
No,
through.
man, I don't know if I'd want to be in one of those.
I've seen them, and you know how many I've been in? Zero. It's like, I've been at a few, more than a few, where I've seen there was contests, the fastest smoke. And these guys, they'll take like a regular cigar, and they'll be the contest fastest smoke. And they get these things down, and next thing you know, they're either puking, passing out, or shitting in their pants. It's like, okay, how did you just enjoy that? Like, that's what I think the greatest idea was, that one with the slowest smoke. Enjoy the fucking thing. That's what it's there for. You know what I mean? It's like, why would you want to get in a contest where it's perfect example? If I'm going to drink here, perfect example, that's right here. All right. There's this beautiful Bombay Sapphire martini. And you tell me, John, let's get in a contest and see how many we can pound down. Okay. So I'm pounding the shit out of these. Next thing I know, the show's over because I fell off the fucking chair. All right. I shit on my pants. I puked all over the floor. All right. How did I enjoy that drink? Not at all. But if I sit here talking to you like this, and we're like,
isn't that so good, that Sapphire? I mean, it is.
Jimmy, my fucking nipples are hard right now. This thing is so good. I am stiff. I swear to God.
I'm seriously, I generally, if I have no vermouth, I'll go and just shake that up on ice and pour it out.
You know what? Do you ever hear the old saying is like the driest martini? What they do is they take the bottle and the glass is here. Here, I need props, Jimmy. I'm sorry. And what they'll do is like, I want a super dry martini. So they'll take the vermouth and go like this. Okay. It's done. That's the driest right there. They don't put the fucking vermouth in it. So listen, I would rather go that way than destroy it with too much vermouth.
Well, I was actually at a shop up in Atlanta during this Cigar Mike's Atlanta cigar experience. And I wanted to have Bombay Sapphire martinis when I was there. And they had no vermouth. And I was like, okay, but you know what? I still want a little bit. So I told them, I said, let me show you a trick. And I used the bartender, right? I said, you got any Chardonnay? You got a dry Chardonnay, get a Chardonnay and take a little of that Chardonnay and put it in there. It works. It's not the same, but it adds a little extra touch to it. And it's just enough.
Right.
It's using a lot anyway. You know, just adds a little complexity to the gin.
I'll tell you what the best thing with this though, Jimmy, is when you said, remember before we talked about, you asked what I was going to be drinking here. And usually here, I'm going to put this is in the wings for a little later. I started a Manhattan, which I'm a Manhattan guy.
It's kind of a dangerous mix.
But yeah, I'm a simpleton. I can't help it. It's in my mix. But the one thing is like, I was always, if I would do a martini, it was Grey Goose vodka. And there's the guys out there, the hardcore. If you go to a hardcore martini bar and you order a vodka martini, they'll look at you like you hung your dick out on the fucking bar. It's like, you want what?
Right.
This was, if anybody didn't know, the gin martini was the original martini. The original. Absolutely. Not vodka.
This is what it was.
A lot later.
Yeah.
So, great choice.
Started mixing up.
Jimmy, to you, brother, for coming up with the perfect drink for tonight.
It is perfect drink. And look at those olives shining through that glass.
Dude, I swear to God, it's like golden nuggets in that damn thing. I swear to God.
Best part is eating them afterwards.
I'm telling you, they're soaked in there. Look at, I still got three. I did my first one too. Here, this is the carcass of the first one that I drank. It's dead. So this is its spine. It's like literally dead. But I'm on my second animal.
So let me take another quick break and do a quick run through. A little bit of a pit there. Run through what's new in news and reviews on Stogie Press, a lot of things because I didn't have a show the other week because I was out of town. So I'll run through it pretty quick. And then we'll come back and we'll do some lightning round questions. We'll learn more about Johnny Smokes and John Reamer.
Absolutely, brother. You
And
do.
we'll
what you
run
gotta
this
do.
as long as
Listen,
you want.
We're in this perfect place right here. You do what you got to do. I got a full martini here. I got wonderful people. You do you, Jimmy. We're here for you, brother.
Let's go. We're going to do this. So we're going to run through what's new in news on Stogie Press. All right. So we've done a number of cigar reviews. The last one we did that we talked about was the Adventura King's Gold. That was the last time we did a review that we talked about. We've got 6 of them now. One of them is Stallone Nicaragua Cigars, the Palomino Robusto. This is their Connecticut. And this is actually rather bold Connecticut. Came in at a 92. This 92 rating, this cigar, it's gave me some nice butter and cashew. You got cedar, cocoa cream, and dry fruit notes in it with some espresso. There was a bit of harshness, which took some point off. There was some lemongrass, nut, and butter. So there's a kind of a complex Connecticut there. It's a USA Connecticut shade, too. Anyway, this is $6.90 cigar. These guys always have some nice value price cigars, easy on a wallet, and fabulous construction and craftsmanship going through it. We also took a look at the Partagas limited reserve Decatus 2020. This is the Dahlia. All right, this one came in at an 89. Problem with this cigar, it wasn't overly complex. I expected more complexity for the age of tobacco in this. The tobaccos that are used in this are 12 and 22-year aged. And then it had burn issues as you got down into it, right in here. So this one got dinged, came down at 89. I was not overly pleased, especially at the price of $17. We did take a look at the new Cigar Clowns drop. Those are actually part of our giveaways on the Wheel of Wonderfulness right now. This one here came in at a 92. Now, let me please note to everybody, I haven't changed this. This is the wrong name. This is the name I got from Nick at the Clowns, and it's the wrong name. He gave me, they said it was a different name, but to change this, it's all embedded in everything. I said, look, it's going to take me time to fix that. So you guys will have to deal with it the way it is, because that's what you told me it was. But this is a fabulous cigar. Some black pepper. It's got these nice cherry and chocolate notes. And that's something that just lights up my palate when I get chocolate and cherry in a cigar. Just reminds me of the old chocolate covered cherries that you get. This thing here is going to be released on October 22nd. So keep your eyes out for that drop. If you're not part of the Cigar Clowns group, get on it now. You can pick this cigar up. It comes in both a open and a closed foot. That's just the way they had the factory do it. So there'll be some packages. You might get some closed feet and some open foot ones in it. Decent burn going through. Overall, kind of had a mild wave. The barrel did get a tad squishy as it was working through, but flavor-wise, I was very impressed with the flavors I was getting out of this. We took a look at the ATL Magic. Now, for those that don't know this brand, any shops that don't know this brand, I'm going to tell you right now, get on board this train, okay? ATL, Atlanta Cigar Company, they're big in Atlanta. They're moving into other regions now. Their latest cigar that they just today are doing a release on it in Atlanta. This is phenomenal cigar with notes of cedar and cinnamon and dark chocolate and espresso. There's some graham cracker notes coming into this, natural sweetness, pepper, and spice. It is just a pleasurable journey from foot to nub. This is one that an experienced cigar smoker is absolutely going to love going through this. I smoked through 3 of these, and I absolutely enjoyed them. Let's be real, the only ding it got was a little wavy burn and a flat burn cone, but man, was it consistent, and it was complex and balanced all the way through. And oh, by the way, if you, between now and the end of the month, if you go to their site, you can get 10% off any of their products by using ST Press 10 off on the company store. So these will be on the company store. You can check that out. And then we took a look at my good friends over at Providencia. Providencia are the ones that make the Boston Jimmy for me. This is their Speakeasy Corona. I don't believe these actually are available right now. I think they're sold out of these, but they're working on getting more in, from what I understand. This is a Corona. This one here, every one of these cigars I've gotten from this company has been really fine cigars. And I've always enjoyed the craft that they've been putting out. Most of the time you get these, if you go to the underground in Texas, you can find these. They're caramel, cinnamon, dark chocolate, dry fruit, maple syrup aromas, natural sweetness, and pepper running through it. It's a San Andreas with a Nicaraguan binder and filler. Nicely constructed cigar, closed foot, decent burn going through it, a little bit of a flat burn cone, but nothing dramatic. Just a really nice cigar to enjoy. I enjoy that craft. And then lastly, today, I had the opportunity to smoke the Room 101. Now, this is a cigar that is, Matt Booth and AJ knocked it out of the ballpark with this 12th anniversary. This is not for the weak at heart. This is definitely a full body, full strength cigar. It has got the amazing thing about this cigar, and I'm really curious to see others that review this to see if they pick the same thing up. It has an orange blossom honey pre-light aroma, and that orange honey finds its way into the journey as you're burning this cigar. So you get that orange honeyness, you get some dark chocolate, you've got some pepper and sweetness and toasted cracker. There is some real changes going on in this cigar that just makes your palate want to smoke another one. It is definitely, he says it's the strongest anniversary cigar to date that he's made. I have to agree with him on that. This is a strong cigar, especially as you get into the second half. It really starts to pick up the strength. The back of his band, no good deeds. Don't know what that means. I'll have to ask Matt Booth what he's talking about. And the burn, beautiful all the way through. Very nice. Yeah, so he had a flat burn cone, but this is an outstanding, pristine burn line all the way through. This is fabulous cigar. You got to pick these up. Check them out. Love to hear your thoughts on it. From a news perspective, there were a few news articles. I won't belabor the news here for the sake of time and getting back with Johnny. Rockefeller Cigars announced their limited edition Art of Magic Cardassian. This is a 10-count bundle here that's done up like a deck of cards. The Southern Drawers have released their new exclusive Cudzo Lustrum to Cigars International. I guess we could talk to Johnny about this one, if he's had that yet. Cigar Dojo, they've with Drew Estate shipped their 2021 Undercrown Dojo Dogma. Foundation Cigars has announced that they come out with their David and Goliath in both the Tabernacle CT Havana Seed 142 blend. And I think that was it. This is from the previous week where JC, we're in the middle of Bricktoberfest. So if you haven't paid attention to Bricktoberfest, get out there, pay attention to it. So with that, and lastly, if you go to Taking It to the Nub, season 2, put up the ATL interview with Peter Gross here, so you can always go there and check it out if you missed that show. With that, let's get back to Johnny. All right.
What's up, brother?
Did you have the Cudzo yet?
Of course I did.
What do you think of that one?
I think it's freaking amazing. I had the opportunity to smoke it, as you know, with the man himself. He was a guest on the Johnny Smokes Uncut podcast, and the train was rolling. So that's Glenn. That's my boy right there. But it's a great cigar. The size is freaking amazing. The size it adds a little different dimension. It really does. A little more spice. I think it adds a little more strength to it too.
Yeah, so that was like my number one cigar 3 years ago. I mean, I forget because 2020 was sucked. So probably 2019 was my number one cigar of the year. I was blown away with that Lutstrom. I mean, it was just an amazing piece of work.
Did you ever hang out with Robert?
Robert is a regular guest at the Stogie Press Lounge when he's in town. Robert has sat down, broke bread at Dia Vita Bistro here numerous times. He's been here for breakfast. He was down. He actually came in for my 60th birthday party.
Nice.
Years ago, came in and
the guy got a heart of gold. He has a heart of gold. I got to hang out with him at the Wooden Match in Bethlehem. He was a guest, and we did the show, and then we had some drinks afterwards. Then we wound up doing the limbo, which I'm still suffering from, and Kevin is too. and Candy still suffering. We did the freaking limbo. I haven't done the limbo in probably 30 years. And let's just say, guess who the first guy out was? This guy. I got between bending backwards and shitting in my pants. So let's just say it was not good.
Yeah, I don't think I could do the limbo anymore. My knees would give out, my back would break, and my neck would crack.
Yeah.
Through the process, you would hear every bit of the cracking along the way.
Exactly.
Not a good scene.
No.
Not anymore. I'll leave that to the.
It was a great time, Robert. If you're out there, we love you, brother.
No, well, and speaking of Robert, I mean, think about what we just talked early about building a company. Here's a guy from Texas. He ain't got no connect. He doesn't have any of these roots. And he got into the cigar business 6 years ago, 7 years ago. And his hard work, and this is what it's all about, persistence, perseverance, indomitable spirit, go out there, keep pushing. He was on the road all the time. He was never home, and he got his craft into shops by being there and working it every day, every year. And his success shows. He is no longer, when I do end of the year lists now, and everybody loves or hates them, I made the decision the other year to no longer just do boutique cigars, because I realized that I ain't paying attention to some of the big guys, and I probably should, because I do smoke their cigars and I do rate them, but I never put them on a list because I was focused on boutique. But I don't want to, not do boutique, because boutique is where I came from, and they propped me up along the way. So I decided to break it into 3 lists, where there's the small boutique, small guys, there's medium, and there's large. Now, of course, the large is pretty easy to figure out, right? We pretty much know who they are.
Yeah, definitely.
Small guys pretty much kind of know what they are, but then the difference between small and medium was a tough one. And I would say, like, Robert Holt and Southern Draw moved out of my boutique into medium, because he's no longer boutique. He's a cigars, right? He's all over the. All right. So that's an accolade to him, because he has now moved up in the world of cigars. People, when I would first review them and talk about those cigars, people said, who the hell is Southern Draw? And now I have people calling me, go, did you try the new Southern Draw cigar? And I'm like, I was the one telling you. Now you're telling me. It's awesome.
He's awesome.
Yes, and we need more people like that in this industry. I'll just throw this out there. Let's go uncut for a second. We're gonna go your level.
There we go.
Biggest pet peeve in the cigar industry. What's your biggest pet peeve in the cigar industry?
As in just Biggest pet peeve, Jesus Christ. Jimmy, you put me on a spot in that one because
I'm going to give you mine too. So
Yeah, do me a favor. Give me yours so I can get a context on where you're going with this. Bless you.
whining, complaining, expressing discomfort of people that didn't love you. Like, would you stop it? Just go sell cigars. Just sell cigar reviews. Just sell events. I don't care what part of this industry you're in. I really don't want to hear your complaints that, oh my God, I did this and they didn't like this. And it's like, no, you got to rise above that and just go back to perseverance, indomitable spirit, go make it happen.
Yeah. Well, and to piggyback off that, it's like you said, with the whining is the negativity. It's like negativity in our industry. It's like, hey, listen, you got to remember, and I'm gonna make sure I use the right word. Our fight. Listen, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's like we should be banding together. We should be supporting. Like if I have a cigar, put it this way. Perfect example. I could put in context in the smaller. I came out with the J Train. Okay, great cigar. This wonderful lady right here came out with the Lilina out of her shop, a New Tobacco Village. So I was super supportive of her cigar. It's like, hey, listen, I got my own cigar. Now, you got those guys who be like, no, fuck that. Her cigar sucks. It's this, it's that. No, you don't want to do that. It's like you want to be supportive. It's like, hey, listen, I want her cigar to succeed. You know what I mean? The same way is like somebody from, and because I saw Stolen Throne to Blackbird.
Right.
It's like, I'm just throwing fucking names out. Like, listen, I want this guy to succeed because if he succeeds, I succeed. And if there was more of that, the positivity amongst, but I know as humans, we have our pride and we have our, I guess pride is the biggest thing is like, if her cigar takes out more than mine, what the fuck, my cigar is better than hers. Or if I'm up here and she's going, oh my God, how does that sell and mine didn't? No, it's not that. I was super supportive of her cigar. And that's the way it got to be at a bigger level. You got to be super supportive of the people, like protocol.
There was a quote, and I think Lito Gomez told me this. I might be wrong. It's been 7 years. I have to go back and look at my articles. But the quote was, this is a friendly, competitive business. We're here to help each other. And when you break that down from just a pure cigar side of it, mm-hmm. There's only so many farmers out there.
Right.
Those are really in the pyramid, right? They're the little guys at the top. They grow the leaf. They cure the leaf, right? They use the leaf and they sell the leaf, right? They don't use all that they don't. I mean, look at Plasencia. They didn't even make their own cigars. They were selling leaf to everybody, right? They were farmers, right? And then you get manufacturers. You get the houses that have the rollers, have the factories, right? They've invested in that. They've got the best of the best that they can find. And then you have the brand owners like yourself. You don't own a factory, you don't own a farm, but you partner and you you build relationships with these different parts of the industry to
right.
The product. And it's in your hands now to market it and sell it and push it out there, because in the end, the guy at the top, he just wants to keep selling leaf, right? The guy in the middle keeps, he'll be more than happy if you are bringing more orders in, and he'll actually start putting better rollers on your projects because and that's Robert Holt, right? You're getting better rollers, you're getting the best of the best because you're bringing him constant business. He's making money on every cigar you sell.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly. You know what, Jimmy? It's funny. What you're talking about is Kevin sitting off to my left here from Protocol Cigars. During COVID, he used a term, and you might have heard it, that, you know, being in the group, he used a word that struck a lot of us together. It's called co-opetition. And that is like, hey, listen, yes, I'm in competition with you. Like perfect example, Jimmy, me and you. You do the same thing I do. I love doing the interviews. You love doing the interviews. And you know what? This is what it's all about. It's like you are like, hey, listen, I love this guy. I love what he's doing. I'm bringing him in. Same thing with I'm getting you in. And you know what I'm saying? And that's the way it is. It's competition. Yeah, we do our own thing. But at the end of the day, it's like we want each other to succeed. I want to see Boston Jimmy to where you are the biggest interviewer of all time, you know, because then I could say, hey, I was on this fucking show when it was small. When it was small, I was here. And now look where he is now. And I could say, I'm the guy that built now. It's like, but you know what I'm saying?
And you're right. And it's about cooperation. And even I've gotten heat, and we're gonna throw it out there. We're going uncut now. I'm sorry. All right. I've had a couple of martinis, and this is what happens. Right?
I'm on my third one, so I'm ready to go.
Almost there. You know, I have people that have asked me pretty much privately, but there's been a few media guys that have noted it publicly that I don't have. There's two things that they complain about. I don't have low-rated cigars on my site. Okay, you know, you're not going to find really low-rated cigars. They're going to say your system's flawed. The second thing they're going to say, you have these high-rated cigars. Now, I have two rebuttals to that always. Number one, if the cigar performs well, I mean, let's be real. The first thing I want is the cigar to perform well. I don't want it going wonky. I don't want it burning off. I don't want it canoeing. I don't want flaky ashes falling on me, blah, blah. I hate that, right? And you lose points on my system for that. And then I want flavor. But the flavor, I know, is very personal.
Right.
You said earlier. So I'm not going to ding it because my palate doesn't like lemongrass. Somebody else might like lemongrass in their cigars.
Right.
So I'm not taking points off because there's lemongrass in it. You know, lemongrass and espresso actually taste pretty good in a cigar. You get the lemony note and you get the coffee note. Kind of reminds me of a little bit of a Italian espresso, you know? And so I leave that out. Unless it's really bad, harsh flavors, there's not a lot of dings on that, or there's like really dull flavors or something. And most cigars today that are being produced are actually pretty damn good. All right.
Right.
Flavor, they're there. They're pretty good. Now, on the flip side, if somebody gives me a cigar, samples to review, and I smoke that cigar, and I'm just like, this cigar sucks, right? I mean, it's really bad.
Right.
It's not worthy to be on my site. It's just not worthy because I do not want to be talking about cigars and telling people what shitty cigars are.
Right.
All right. So I will.
That's the best thing about guys like us is like, I want to tell you, you hit the nail on the head. Is when I was doing reviews I started out with doing some reviews on YouTube, and then of course I don't know if it's because it's tobacco or this or that. They took some down, and that's why I went to Facebook because like I can't deal with that shit.
I'm on the opposite scale now.
Yeah, well, do you know what? Is I want to get back into YouTube because the videos actually got great hits. And my thing is like, if somebody says to you, exactly what they said to you is, why don't you do on something on the, no, it's like, I don't want to sit here. Like, I could talk about a cigar I like. And now why would I want to offend? There's manufacturers out there that put their heart, their soul, and everything else into a cigar. Now, why do I want to sit here and say, oh, this cigar is a hunk of shit? Like, well, now, what does that get us? It gets us nowhere.
Nothing.
Nothing. It gets
Nothing.
you
So
nowhere.
I'm
So
not
that's
going
why
to
it's like,
bash somebody's business.
exactly. And I refuse to do that. And
Right.
any review that I did, if there's a cigar out there that I've never reviewed or talked about, it's because it wasn't in my, and listen, it's, as I say, it wasn't in my palate. Now, I could smoke this, which I'm smoking out, what is it? I'm sorry, Jesus Christ, Unstolen Valor. That's what this is right here from Saka. I love this cigar. But let's say
Great
I
cigar.
didn't like it. Let's say I hated it. It fucking sucked. I'm not going to go on and say, he's this, it sucks, don't get this. Now, what does that get me? It gets me looking like a pretentious asshole. And that's not what I'm trying to get across. I'm trying to get the smokers, like, especially if like people that follow you, and like say you come out with 10 cigars, Jimmy, and you got yourself set, okay? Then they could say, all right, Jimmy likes this, 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 and this. And then you could say what is in that same realm that might turn them on. Okay. Why do you want to go to the negative side and say, don't smoke this, it's too light? And like you said, you may have 200 followers that say, I'm sorry, I like light and I like that cigar. Now you're looking like a total asshole. It's like, no, you don't want to fucking do that. It's stupid.
Yeah.
You know,
And that's the thing.
You add
And
the
we need
positive
to
vibe to it. Positive.
be positive. Exactly. Be positive. This industry has enough issues to deal with than to have the industry groups fighting with each other, all right, causing all kinds of distress.
Right.
We don't need that, right? Let's go and fight the common battle. And I'll tell you, on the common battle, we should talk a little bit about this. All right, so the common battle is and will be in the absolute clear future, taxation.
Yes. Big time.
Federal government wants to tax the cigars now by weight. All right. And when they do that, the average, and I won't get into all the numbers, you people have read the articles, can read them. The average Toro, actually the average Robusto, would have about $1.45 tax on it based on 13 grams or so, 14 grams that it weighs, right? So about $1.45 in tax. Currently, it's about 49 cents. All right.
Right.
About $1 extra. Now, here's my beef. And this is, and I've been professing this to people for 2-3 years now. In the industry, when it goes from wholesale to retail, it generally is a very simple equation. You sell me the cigar for X, I sell it for 2X.
Right.
That's it. It's real simple. But the problem is it's not that simple because that X has all the taxes in it.
Right.
When you 2X it, you've done two things wrong. One, tax the consumer on that. Because now if you take that $1.45 I just said, and you add it and you double it, now you're adding another $1.45 to the cost of the cigar, which you shouldn't be doing. There's no need to do that. And second of all, you're charging sales tax on tax.
Right.
We do not have a point of service system designed for the cigar industry that breaks out. And this is something where the manufacturers and the retailers have to work together to where I sell you a cigar. I say, okay, the cigar cost, just the cost, this cigar to you is $3. All the taxes in there, the S-chip, the taxes, the excise tax, the state added extra taxes, non-sales tax, let's say that comes up to be $2.50, right? So now that $3 cigar is $5.50, you double it, it's $11.
Right.
Now follow me through. Now you're gonna tax, now you can put sales tax on that, which is gonna make $12 plus, right? That $3 cigar, double the tax. I mean, double the price of that cigar. It's $6. Now take the $2.50 and add it to the $6. It's $8.50. It's an $8.50 on the shelf. taxes are paid, the keystone is made,
Right.
right? And the consumer is not paying tax on tax. Right?
Right.
You got 850 cigars on the shelf. So if they're trying to tax us out of it, maybe we need to go back around and go readjust how we do this and say, wait a second. I can, if you fix that problem, suddenly that $11 cigar became $8.50 and it flies off the shelf.
Right.
And everybody's happy in the cigar industry. And the government's like going, holy shit, they figured it out. What are we going to do now?
See, we're solving all the cigar problems right here on Boston Chimney. I love this. This is like, they're not listening. Jimmy, they're not listening to us. What the fuck is the problem? Look at we're a couple martinis in. And I think we solved the whole cigar industry problem.
We ain't done.
Oh, we're not done. Oh, I love to hear that.
Done. All right. I'm coming up with some more interesting questions.
Oh, God, here we go.
So, for those that are watching the show, you might recognize the fact that I am not sitting in my normal seat, which is next to me, because this show I knew was going to be completely different. So I'm sitting at my desk today with the backdrop behind me that I do the other type of stuff during the week. The side, I'm not sitting there because I needed to have something different. So normally at the end of the show, I do a lightning round. But let's do a couple of, questions. But
fire away, bro.
Really do a really important question, which I changed last week. Okay.
Okay.
It used to be the skirts and pantsuits question. Okay. We're not doing that anymore. We might get to that, but we're not doing that.
Jimmy, I'm an open book. You let that shit fly. I will.
The new question that everybody gets is, you've noted that we recently had an asteroid that came around the sun and flew between the Earth and the moon last month, well, a couple of weeks ago, right? And we didn't detect it till it passed the Earth. But it was between the Earth and the moon. It was a rather large asteroid.
All right.
So our asteroid system, detection system, still needs some work. And they're interested in working on that, putting different things. They're going to figure that out. But here's the question. What if they detected an asteroid that was so large and the Earth was the bullseye and you had 24 hours to live? You are going to be annihilated. You are not surviving the impact. Would you do anything different in those 24 hours than what you've done in your life?
Oh my God. Dude, why do you throw that? Is that the first foot? That should have been the last fucking question, Jimmy. Jesus
Usually
Christ.
is, but we're doing things different tonight.
All right. Hey, listen, like I said, I roll with it. You know what I'm doing different is like, I don't know. It's like when you say different, I look at it this way. A lot of people are going to do things that make them close to heart. Okay. So I'll tell you what, Jimmy, listen, this is what I would do. And I could do this right here. Watch this. See these people right here? Let me go around the room again. These people right here, right now, are some of the people I want to spend my last 24 hours with. So that right there tells you everything. It's like, listen, no, the money means nothing. Okay. The monetary shit means shit, nothing. All the cars, whatever. You know what it means? It's like, why do you think these people are here tonight? Because it's love. So what do you want to spend your last night with? It's these same people to my left, to my right, in front of me. So that is my answer. It's like, I would want to call these guys up, say, listen, we're fucked. Let's get together. Let's have a drink. Let's have a smoke. And we're going. we're going to casino. Well, fuck it, nobody's gonna be there, so we can hang there and have a smoke and a drink. We'll sit at the. We're gonna sit at the unmanned bar at the casino, and I'm gonna fucking pour drinks for all these wonderful people and all the JSU members who are within the driving area within that 24 hours. We're gonna get together, and we're gonna have a smoke, and we're gonna say, listen, and we're gonna say what we love about each other. It's like, hey, listen, I love you for this. I love you for this. And it's like, you know what? When that fucker hits, we're gonna be holding hands, drinking and smoking, and we're gonna go out like fucking bosses. That's what we're gonna do.
All right, let me shake this up here. 'Cause I gotta catch up to you.
Go ahead, take your time, brother. Take your time. Jimmy, we got this place till like what, 2 in the fucking morning, so we're good.
All right, this could be a marathon.
I hope we're not here that long, but I'm just saying.
All right, so here is my answer to that same question,
Go ahead.
and it might shock a lot of people. All right. First of all, I think the heroin dealers will sell out of heroin. All right. I never did heroin in my life. I've been on morphine in hospitals for accidents, so I've been on oxy for major bone breaks and things. So I understand what that probably feels like, but I don't know. But you can imagine. My answer would be, I would find that guy and say, hook me up. And my wife and I would just go sit back and go, I never did it. I'm dying anyway. Hug me and relax and just lay back and go, bring it on. And that's it. Done. Just
Exactly.
have a hug fest and just like you said, be with the one, be around that person right there, because you're not going to be able to get to the people you want to get to in 24 hours necessarily. So just live it out.
I think another thing I would do, Jimmy, is I would go to the Tarsi's house and get in that fucking 2022 Corvette of Glenn's, and I would do fucking, I'd race that fucking thing all around Crud Nazareth, and then come back, go into his wine cellar and fucking say, Glenn, what is your most expensive bottle of wine? Get that shit out now.
Jersey Rice, the best.
Yeah, the best. And
Bring it
then-
all out.
and-
Exactly.
and we're gonna go all, and I in my vet, I'd pick the Kyten up, Tara, Chigger, No, we're gonna hook a cart up. We're gonna hook a wagon up and pick you fuckers up in a 2022 vet with a fucking haystacks wagon on behind it. That's what I'm doing.
All right. So next question.
Go ahead.
And that was a good segue. You're an adventurous guy. You like some risks. What is the fastest you've ever driven a car on a highway?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
What's the fastest you've ever driven a car on a highway?
110 miles an hour. I'd never owned anything like my friend Glenn over here, like I said, as a 2022 vet. I've never had anything of that.
200 miles an hour.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, and of course, listen, it's like he said 200 miles an hour, but you're talking to the man over here who was a retired airline pilot who's driven fighter jets and fucking airplanes. So he's out of the fucking loop. I don't even listen to him on this.
Yeah, he goes.
He doesn't count. Yeah. But like I said, Jimmy was probably 110 miles an hour down Route 378.
I did 145 in a 1980 Z28 that a friend of mine had just bought. Jersey Turnpike. All right. With the best radar detector known to mankind at that time in 1980.
Nice.
And that was an experience to go. The speedometer was pinning 145. That's all I know. I don't know any more that I went.
No, see, I went 110 miles an hour down 378 to go to the casino because Lena said that the machine was hitting, and she said if you get down here quick, your money counts. So I was like, all right, fuck it.
I've regularly when I had my Volkswagen CC and I go up to visit my my family up in Tennessee, driving through around 24, go through the mountain pass up there into the valley. I would get that up to 110 easily, and I would do that. 110, no, 145. Let me tell you, 145
Nice.
down the turnpike. And this is back when the speed limit was 55. So you're looking at cars that were like this in the rearview mirror. And as soon as the radar detector went off, it was 4 on the floor. You dropped it into third gear, hit the brake.
Hey, Jimmy, it's funny you say that. A buddy of mine that I work with, I'm sorry, an employee that I work with, his name's Ricardo. Ricardo was from the Philippines. And Ricardo is the example when you hear about going from the bottom to the top. This is a guy that was selling newspapers on the 3rd floor in Philippines. And he was telling me now he has a Dodge Viper. He has a house that's the size of the White House. Because and no other than the good old American way we were talking about, he put his time in, him and his wife, 7 days a week, nonstop, working, work. Nothing else matters. We want to get from here to here. And they did it. And what's sad to say, which I'm going to say, is his wife has about 3 more years to live. So, but anyway, to segue, is this guy got a Dodge Viper and he was on the one highway in Jersey doing God knows what. He said, I've had to do it was a Viper, so he was a 180. I don't know what the fuck he was doing.
160 easily.
Cop pulls him over. He comes up and he's like, he goes, John, because you got to remember, he's Filipino. So when he's talking to me about this, he goes, John, I thought I was in trouble. He goes, I thought they were taking my car. I said, well, what did he say to you? He goes, is that the fastest this thing goes? Right? And he goes, no, officer, I think it could go faster. He goes, okay, don't fucking do it. Slow the hell down. Take it easy. No ticket, no nothing. But the cop was super fucking cool, he said. So that's badass.
Yeah. No, sometimes you get those breaks. Sometimes you don't.
Jimmy, where the fuck are you coming to these questions? You're coming up with some tough questions. You're killing me. In fact, I need another sip on this next one, I think.
All right. Here's a critical news break. The Red Sox won Game 2 of the championship. They won Game 2 in the first inning with 2 grand slam home runs in the first inning.
Yeah. Oh no, they got. I'm sorry, they got. Oh, here. Hold on, Jimmy. We got it in this corner over here.
There you go. Yep. There it is. There it is. Kiki Hernandez, man, he will be, if they win this, he is MVP all the way. That kid is unbelievable what he's doing.
Are you from New York?
Huh?
Are you from New York or Boston? Where are you from? Literally.
Oh, you want to know that story?
Yeah. You know what? The only reason I brought that up is because I think it's an intriguing story.
It's a good story.
Hit it.
I grew up on Long Island, New York, in a little village called New Hyde Park. It was on the border of Queens and Nassau County. We were in the village. There was New Hyde Park, which was also part of town Hempstead, but it was the larger, the more modern part. We were just in the village. There were 12 blocks crossed by the Long Island Railroad. I lived 3 blocks from Long Island Railroad. 3 houses from Long Island Railroad. And at the end of the street was a lumber yard, and along the avenue that ran along the tracks was literally like shanty houses. Okay. I lived in a house that was built in the 1890s, an old farmhouse. It was one of the original houses in the village. Went to Catholic grade school, altar boy, Boy Scout, the whole 9 yards, and decide I'm going to go to college in Brooklyn, and I'm going to go to Pratt Institute, and I moved to Brooklyn. after my freshman year. I moved into my sophomore year, moved into an off-campus fraternity house, and lived in Brooklyn for 3 years. And I grew up in a Mets household. So my mother and father, God rest their souls, were Mets fans. My father shed his first tear that I saw in 1969 when the Mets won the World Series.
Yes.
First
Jerry
time I saw my
Kuzman,
father
John
cry.
Matlack, Tom Seaver, Cleon Jones.
Absolutely. Amazing.
You're talking to a
Amazing
Mets
Mets.
fan, brother. You're talking to a
Yep.
Mets fan here.
Yep,
Hell
that's why I
yeah.
brought it up. Amazing. My father, to the day he died, would listen. He couldn't see. He would listen to it on a transistor radio in the kitchen. Every game.
Oh, God.
So I move into Brooklyn, and, I'm like 18 years old, 18 and a half. And I'm just, it's about the Yankees. The Yankees were doing pretty good back then in 1978. So I'm all about the Yankees. I come home and I'd sit down with my father. He'd be watching the Mets on TV. He would eat dinner and have one obligatory beer. He'd sit down, turn on the Mets game on Channel 9, WOR TV. And the Mets, like, in the third inning, are like just completely getting annihilated. And I'm like,
Yeah.
That sucks. That's really
Been there, done that.
How can you watch this? And my father would always fall asleep, right, after that beer. So I would get off my chair. This is back in the day. I'd actually get off the couch and flip the knob, two knobs to PIX, and watch the Yankees. And the Yankees are kicking ass. My father would wake up religiously at the seventh inning stretch. I don't know. It's in his head. That's it. Time to wake up. And he'd be like, who's winning? I said, the Yankees. And he'd go, rah, rah, he'd get off the chair. He'd flip the knob back to WOR, and the Mets are losing like 13-5. And I'm like, oh my God. Right. So I was all about the Yankees in Brooklyn. I almost bought the satin jacket, the whole thing.
Oh my God.
Right. So when I graduate, my first job was in Massachusetts working for Raytheon. So I move up there. Of course, I go to the nearest pub near my apartment, and I walk in. I got a Yankee hat.
Oh, God almighty.
I'm a brazen ass New Yorker, right? I'm just like, and I still am, right? I don't give a shit. So I go in there, I got my Yankee hat on, and they're just like, and I'm not getting the service I should be getting, but eventually they got to know me, after a couple months being there. And my newfound friends at Raytheon, a lot of them are all from Massachusetts, and they would take me down to Fenway Park. I remember my first time I walked in with a Yankee hat on.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I'm crazy.
You're lucky you didn't get fucking killed.
No, I said, I don't care. No, I mean, I wasn't this then. I was better than this then. So I wasn't too worried, right? So, so I go in there. We went to Fenway Park, and the next time I went back, I didn't wear the hat. Next time I went back, I watched the game, and I was thinking like 3 or 4 times. And I only lived there for 3 years, but every time I saw the Red Sox play back then, this is 81, 82, they really weren't doing that great.
Right.
And it reminded me of my dad's Mets. And I was like, these guys are a lot like my dad's Mets. And you're 21, 22 years old. I said, you know what? I put the Red Sox hat on. And I said, I like this team. I like the grit in that team. They always have grit. All right. And they're always edge of your seat ball playing. I mean, like these last 2 games, even last night, last 3 games, like the 2 games against Tampa and the games last night, it's like edge of your seat. It's like, wait, anything could happen. 2004 was like those 4 games in the American League Championship was like wee hours of the morning. Like, who's going to win? The grit. So I wore the Red Sox hat on, and I said, I'm going to be all about the Red Sox, and I never looked back. So then I moved back to New York, got a job with the Grumman Corporation, worked on the F-14 project, and everybody made fun of me. They called me Boston Jimmy.
Oh, God. And it started from there.
And I was like, okay, whatever, I'm Boston Jimmy, right? And then from there, I moved to Florida 38 39 years ago or something. I've been down here. I moved down with Grumman. So I moved with those same people down here because we had an operation we set up down here to build the U.S. Air Force Joint Stars platform. And I worked on that for 20 years and I had various nicknames, but Boston Jimmy was still there. They knew me as Boston Jimmy. And I had a stint up in Boston for a year. I took an assignment to live there for a year. And I had renewed my love for the whole area. And my heart, my soul, you know, I was born in New York, but my soul grew in Boston, not just with the Red Sox, but also just hanging out at that age. It was amazing because you were able to go out, you know, I was an engineer, so we had some disposable income at a young age. So you're going out to clubs, you're going out to bars, you're going out to places, and you just meet all these people. And the thing about Boston, whether you're male or female, there is a fresh, new bunch of faces every year in college years. There's a whole bunch of freshmen show up, right? Come from all around the country, and you'd be just like you hanging out at a bar. Yeah, 18, you could drink back then, right? And it was like, they don't know anything about Boston. And you're like, well, let me show you about Boston. And it was
it's funny what you said with your
be
dad.
alive.
Your dad was the Mets fan, right?
Dad was a diehard Mets fan.
Well, like I said, it was
Mets
funny.
fan.
It's like me and my dad were never on board with the same teams. Like, I can't say that. Like he was a Notre Dame fan, so I'm a big Notre Dame fan, as everybody.
Right. My daughter and her family is too.
And it was like with the Mets, that was another team that my dad and myself agreed on. There wasn't much because he's a Steelers fan. I don't know how. It's a long story. I'm a Dolphins fan, right? When it came to basketball, I was a Sixers fan. You know, I was also a big Michael Jordan fan, so I rooted for Michael Jordan when he did, you know, through that whole tenure.
And I think that there is something important you brought up. So you got to figure out your primary sport, right? My primary sport is baseball, hands down baseball. So I'll never not be a Red Sox fan. I don't give a shit if they're in the gutter like it was last year, or I'm sitting here today going,
well, Jimmy, it's funny you say that. It's funny you say that because I'll start with one, but I'm going to another. The one team that I will never leave is Notre Dame Fighting Irish. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish are in my heart, and they're there forever. And in fact, my daughter was born on St. Patrick's Day. I got the
you got the little Fighting Irish guy
right here.
Oh no, okay.
So
right.
My grandfather was an Irishman, and my stepfather he took me to my first Notre Dame game. My stepfather, who recently passed away, took my first Notre Dame game. So, but when it came to the Mets, my dad was a big Brooklyn Dodgers fan.
Well, a lot of them were,
and my dad was like when they left, he's like, I'm done with them. And he goes, I'm not rooting for the fucking goddamn Yankees. No way.
Right.
No
That's
matter
my fault.
what. So believe it or not, the first team he sort of latched onto because they were big in the area on TV, believe it or not, was the Chicago Cubs. In this area here, Jimmy, it was the Cubs they were big on TV in this area. So my dad started somewhat following the Cubs. I'll look at them. And then all of a sudden, these Mets came around. So my dad was just like,
the Metropolitan.
Yep, the Metropolitans. I'm going with them. And then that was, like I said, one of the few teams that me and him agreed on. Because like I said, for hockey, I'm Flyers. He was Rangers. You know, so
my father wasn't hockey. To this day, I'm an Islanders fan. I used to listen to that on the radio room. Okay. I'm all about the Islanders. I can't wait to see their new arena in Elmont, New York by Belmont Racetrack.
Yes.
Spectacular. I was never really a basketball fan, but if I was to watch basketball, I'm going with the Nets because of my Brooklyn connection, going to college.
Yeah.
Stick with that. And when it comes to football, I follow quarterbacks. All right. I was, back in the day, I was a ginormous Denver fan. I loved Elway. I think he was one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Loved the way he was able to be 2 inches knee to the ground and connect from 40-yard pass. I was like, how does this guy do this? It's amazing. Watch it.
Exactly, because like I said, I had a lot of good years and bad years. My good ones was early. The Dolphins were always tough. Prior Marino, okay, the Dolphins were always there. You figure I was born in '66, so I was the undefeated season. I was 6 years old, but then they were still always good. So I don't know how I latched on. It was a lot of the guys in school because they were always so good. It's like I latched on them. And then of course the Marino years came around. Like you said, quarterbacks. It's like I'd have to say if there's one sports figure that I would, if they would say, do you want to have a cigar and a drink with one sports figure? Dan Marino, by far. There's nobody else. I'd have to say second would be, believe it or not, it's weird to say, Darryl Strawberry.
Stole my question, but go with it. Go with it.
I'm going with it. It's like Dan Marino is a guy that I would love to. I don't know if he smokes cigars. I don't think he does, but that was a guy who I would definitely love. In fact, there's Anthony's Pizza. It's a franchise and it's in this area. It's Dan Marino is a part owner. And I love going there and seeing that jersey on the wall. In fact, he was in this area when it first opened. And by the time I found out about it, he was gone. I wanted to meet him. In fact, the first pro game that I saw with the Dolphins was it was the old Vet Stadium, of course, which was a shithole. And that was Eagles versus Dolphins, and Marino blew out his Achilles tendon. I never got to see Marino play in person. Never. I've seen a bunch of Dolphins games down in Philly, of course, it's so close. Never got to see my idol play a game in person. And that fucking haunts me.
Now, I would say that when it comes to a sports figure I want to smoke cigars with, I came this close to it, and I really want to have the moment is David Ortiz. I mean, I met him at PCR, the IPC PCR years ago when he was there. Had to shake his hand, got to talk to him for a little bit. But that didn't actually get to sit down and smoke.
Jimmy, if that's the guy you want, I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you a great story with him since he's a guy of yours. A few years back, I want to go up like maybe 4 or 5 years ago at CI that I work at. No, I apologize because I was working there. So it had to be like right at 3 years ago. I think I was working there right before. Anyway, we brought guests in. Now we've had, Dick Butkus in-house at the store that I work at. We've had, Franco Harris was a guest. But by far, the best guest that we ever had in was David Ortiz. So the big rule was you could not get an autograph unless you bought a box of his cigars. But guess what he said? Fuck that. You want me to sign up? And he told his guy that. This is the best part. He's like, I'm signing anything and everything. He signed baseballs, cards. He signed anything and everything. And
he's just that jolly guy, man.
When people came around, the one guy, I'll never forget this because I was up near where he was, and the guy was like, hey, do you want to get a picture with him? You're an employee. I was like, no, everybody's there. Let them, these are diehard Red Sox fans. Let them do their thing. I'm a Mets fan. Where I love David Ortiz, don't get me wrong. It's like, I felt like, let the people who love this guy get up there first. So he took this guy's freaking phone when he was live and he's like, hey, what's like that? He signed literally, Jimmy, everything. You could have pulled out a pack of gum and he would have signed it. And at first it was like, he will only sign his sample pack or a box. That was, they were like hardcore, just, which was, it's fair, but in his true loving demeanor, he signed everything and anything, and he spent a lot of time. The line went around. It's a big fucking building, Jimmy. The line went around the building. He stayed there till everybody fucking was gone. This guy.
Yeah, that's the way he is.
And it was fucking, and that's why I have mad respect for him.
So let me segue that question to what celebrity would you want to smoke a cigar with?
Celebrity?
Yeah.
I notice this is sound weird, and I'm old school. As I always tell friends of mine, I'm old school. I watched a lot of old movies with my dad. You know, whatever it was.
Oh, by the way, and the context is living or dead.
Jimmy Cagney.
Nice. I like that.
Jimmy Cagney
guy
is like, I had the one of the original posters of Angels with Dirty Faces, which was probably besides like Full Metal Jacket. Angels with Dirty Faces is probably one of my favorite all-time movies, and I had one of the original posters, which my loving ex-wife destroyed when we got divorced, but still. And like I said, I'm an open book. I'm telling you the way it is. But that was probably one of my favorite freaking movies. And that was with they have Pat O'Brien in that, the Bowery Boys. That movie was.
Hold on, Bowery Boys. You ready for this? You a Bowery Boys guy?
Go ahead.
All right.
Oh, that's yes.
Most people can't do that sound.
I couldn't do it. I think I'd shit my pants if I'd even try it. But no, but that was Jimmy Cagney is a guy that always intrigued me because you figure I was nowhere near his prime as an actor, but I always loved him as an actor because of the way he acted, the way he looked, and what he did. And he was so. Everybody always portrayed him as a gangster, but when he did, oh God,
he did that love story thingy that he did.
Well, he did the love story, but also he did when he played Cohen, the guy that wrote the Star Spangled Banner. I apologize, I can't think of the name. And he did the dance routine.
Yeah,
the guy was unbelievable. And that is a guy with which it just popped in my head because I've been asked this question a lot of times. I've come like, I was a big John Wayne fan, Clint Eastwood, Outlaw Josie Wales, but I'd have to say Jimmy Cagney.
Yeah, for me, I mean, there's a lot of names that come to play, but I'm gonna just say, and it's gonna segue into another question. So James Gandolfini.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I would have loved to sit down with him. The man was so not what he was on The Sopranos. I mean, he was such a great job, but that's not. I mean, you see James in other movies; he's a completely different character. Right. He was a really, really great actor. I would have loved to sat down with him and have a cigar.
Oh my God. It would have been a blast. That's a good
So segue. Did you see the Many Saints of Newark?
Not yet. I want to see it.
All right.
I want to see it. Have not yet.
I'll leave it there.
I
We'll
definitely
talk about it.
Is
See the
it
new
good?
James Bond movie yet?
No, in fact, Jimmy, it's funny you say that. A bunch of the guys, we were at Lena's shop and they're like, hey, we're going this afternoon to see the James Bond film. Do you want to go? I'm like, I got a show tonight. I can't. I'm sorry.
I screwed
Jimmy,
you up.
I passed James Bond up for fucking Boston, Jimmy, to show you how much I love you, brother.
Look, man, we're drinking martinis.
There we go.
Shaken,
It's
not stirred.
Yes.
Hey, that's it. Now, I haven't seen the new James Bond movie. I've talked to people who have seen it. I have a British friend of mine. It came out there before they came out in the United States. And the one thing is we talked about is that in order to be, so this is like the last James Bond movie for
What the hell's his name? James Bond.
for Craig. All right.
Daniel Craig.
Yeah, this is his last James Bond movie. But we talked about, what is it, because they're talking about possibly bringing in a woman, James Bond. And he's like, as a Brit, he goes, they can do a spin-off and we would accept that in his British accent, which I can't do. But he goes, James Bond has a very definitive thing. You have to be a womanizer. You have to drink martinis. All right. You have to be suave. And at the same time, you can have grit. Right. You've got to be British.
Yeah, exactly.
He goes on. He goes down a
British.
list.
You know what,
There's a
like,
list that the
it's
Brits
like-
have that define who a James Bond can
Well,
be.
you know what, Jimmy? The big thing
That
was, it was
movie.
like when they said that we're going to bring an African American in as James Bond. I'm like, okay, do
He
it.
could be, as long as he's British.
I don't. He got to be British. I don't care. He could be Asian, African American, white. I don't care what it is. But James Bond, it's like nothing against the women. I don't want to start a fucking international incident. But
No,
James
but I think
Bond
that
is
they
a
need
male.
to. They can do a spin-off. They can do a
Yes. They could, yeah. But-
another
and I
agent.
agree. And it's like, listen, whatever I want to do, Jimmy, is fine. But for me, in my own opinion, I don't care what James is. I was just like, I don't care if he's white, Asian, African American, Latino. It's not James Bond. It's James Bond.
James
You know what I
Bond.
mean? So exactly, Kevin. That's a good say. And it's like
Giacomo Bond.
It's and it's
Bond.
nothing against
Seamus Bond.
yeah, whatever. And it's like, can a woman pull that off? Absolutely. Women are just as good as men, but when it comes to certain typecast, you look at it as this. And like I said, for a male figure, it's not, you could do any nationality, any race. But in my opinion, I think it should be male.
But it has to have a British. They gotta be British.
Oh yeah, you got to have that fucking.
And
Yeah.
and the one thing I have to say about I've been in England is doesn't matter your race in England. They all sound British.
Exactly.
Every
That's
one of them sounds British, it doesn't matter what your race is.
Exactly. And that's
you look at the
why-
guy, he's Chinese, but he sounds British. It's like,
That's it. I don't give a fuck. I don't care.
and it
I
kind
said,
of blows you away a little. at
Well,
first.
like I said, the media sometimes likes to fucking fan the fire of stupidity.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, oh, they might have an African American Bond. It's like, okay, cool, do it. I think it would be fucking fabulous.
Who would that be though? There's some there's some great Black Englishmen that are actors. Like
Either that or an African American actor that can actually pull the accent off.
nah, they gotta be British.
Yeah, I know, Jimmy. I'm just reaching here, brother.
You look at the movies, the most recent movies. What was that movie with the guy? What was that movie? And I didn't see it, but it got the Academy Awards. I don't think was it The Crown? That
Oh God,
African
I know what you're talking. I know what you're talking about. I can't think about it. I can't. I can't for the life of me. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it
I know
was-
what you're saying. You want that because listen, it's an English character. The same way, if you're
kind of
gonna
like Freddie Mercury, right? Freddie Mercury, right, was so British sounding, right? But the last person you think was British, but
right.
right?
It's one of those things. It's like, hey, listen, it's like if you want to typecast a cowboy in a Western, you don't want him speaking Asian. That's like, where's this going? You want it to be in that genre. You know what I mean? And it's like, but like I said, there's a bunch of great actors that I think could pull it off. I think they could pull it off. Big time. Oh, this is the guy. Oh, this is the guy. Thanks, Candy. It's Idris Elba.
Yes,
That's the guy. Yes. Thank you, Candy.
he could pull that off.
Producer. Jimmy, that's why she's the producer. Because it's like, I didn't even ask. And this wonderful woman, Candy Tarsi, comes out of nowhere, left field.
He could definitely pull that off.
I think so. And it's like, I'd be into it 150% in a heartbeat.
Your best James Bond.
Oh God. You know what? This is one that's gonna fucking probably bastardize me. And is because everybody always goes, listen, yes, what the hell's his name? Oh dear Lord. The first one, Sean Connery. Everybody goes for Connery. Okay. Yes. He did a wonderful job. But I'll tell you what, one that I thought was I thought Roger Moore did an okay job. I don't think he fucking did bad. Was it Skyraker? And it was just like, I thought he did good. But I'll tell you the one that I liked is
Skyraker was a tough Bond movie because it was
Jaws,
not
the big guy with the teeth. And I'm trying to think of the guy, what the hell's his name?
Guy from Remington Steele.
Pierce Bronson.
Pierce Bronson.
I thought Pierce Bronson did a wonderful freaking job.
I agree.
And
I agree with you.
Loved him as Bond. I loved him as Bond.
He was a good Bond.
So I'll go out on a limb and say Pierce Bronson.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that. I think Craig is a little rough on the edges, which adds a different dimension to a Bond, but it just doesn't feel like my Bond when I was a kid going to see James Bond movies. So, well, we've gone 2 hours, man. I mean, this is a record-breaking show. I don't normally do 2 hours, but we rolled it. So let me just bring it on back to for the fans that stuck in, and they probably not, but maybe they'll spin it up, and maybe you can spin it to them and show them the clip. We'll do a reminisce moment.
A reminisce moment. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's go with this, Jimmy. Is like I'm a guy that is nostalgic. Not just nostalgic, but it's also emotional. You know, that's the way I get my mom's side. My dad was a hardcore German. My mom was a more heartfelt Italian with more emotions. And sometimes where I think I'm a son of a bitch like my dad, I still got an open heart like my mom. And the one thing I want to do, Jimmy, is I definitely want to give a shout out because, as everybody knows, is our group, and I want to throw this up, is Johnny Smokes Uncut. Here is this right here.
Johnny Smokes Uncut. And how do they find Johnny Smokes Uncut?
And I want to give a shout out to everybody in JSU for the support that they give us and to show the world itself on what a great group we are. And it says it right here with the wonderful people in this room and the wonderful, like I said, Johnny Smokes Uncut is actually not just popular, but relevant in the whole 9 yards. And because of not just me, it's because of the people behind the scenes. And 2 of them are sitting here. I'm sorry, 3. Even Glenn helps out, even though Glenn's not an admin. Glenn is always there, willing to help, give a helping hand. But then to hit into the admin side, I got Candy and Kevin Kythen here. And these guys helped me get to the next level. They helped me get to the next level. I'm not going to be sitting here. It's like, I got us here. And they were like my underlings. No, it was, I could not have, this group cannot be where it's at right now because of the wonderful people in this room and the support. So I always like to throw it out there as that, Jimmy. It's like, I love to throw that out to give the love and support of the people around me, because without that, I'm just a guy on Facebook with 10 followers.
How do people find Johnny Smokes Uncut? And how is it that, I mean, because you have a show, but you pop up a lot. So just explain your philosophy of how you're pushing yourself out there, both with the show and just, in the middle of the day, Johnny's in a car.
Well, first of all, which, thank you, Candy, for this, is here's the tag, guys, Johnny Smokes Uncut on Facebook and Instagram. Follow the train. There it is right there. So if you go on Johnny Smokes Uncut on Facebook and Instagram, listen, the one question that we want you to answer is, are you over 21? Because we want to protect ourselves. So that's the main question that we want answered. And then you will be let into the group. The other ones are boilerplate. You're going to listen to us and not be an asshole. And as long as yes, but I'm an asshole half the time. So if I'd have to kick people out for being assholes, I'd have to kick myself out. But anyway, get on Johnny Smokes Uncut on Facebook and Instagram. We got it right here. And I want to say it's Jimmy. It's yeah. We do 2 shows a week. Great call, Kevin. We do 2 shows a week on Thursday and Sunday. Thursday is usually when we have our guest, and Sunday we call it a fireside chat taken from FDR with his fireside chat, where he used to sit around and tell the nation what's going on with the nation.
Right.
Okay, so that's where that thought came from, and I stole that. I stole it off that. That wasn't an original thing. I'll admit it. That was off of FDR. The fireside chat is like when times were tough, you sat around and you talked to people, and it's funny how I came up with that during COVID. Times were
Well, yeah. Well, you came up with the whole Johnny Smokes on.
right, and it was to have people sit around. And when you can't go to work and you're possibly might lose your job, things aren't going great, people are dying, you can get in on our group and you could sit there and get on a show with wonderful manufacturers and guests and be like, I can get out of my world for an hour, 2 hours, whatever. And that's
did a great job.
That's what it was all about. And there's nothing there's nothing behind the scenes. It's like anything that we get from sponsors, anything that we get, it all goes back to the group members. I don't keep anything, and it's like
Yeah.
because it's such a great group. We want them to experience the love that all of us have for each other right here, and that is for me the catch. I think for other people that they see this, and then they experience it, and they're like, holy shit, these guys are like legit. They're not like a bunch of fucking goofballs. Yeah, it's like, yeah, I'm a goofball, but I mean, for the most, but it's like, listen, Jimmy, I come on, I have a few drinks, we have a few smokes, and we sit there. Does it go off the rails sometime? Fuck yes, it does. It goes sometimes way off the fucking rails, but you know what? That's what the people love about it. It's because I'm not trying to portray somebody I'm not. When they look at me, when you look at me, Jimmy, you see what you get. You know what I mean? It's like I'm a guy that likes to have a few drinks, smoke a fucking bunch of cigars, and hang out with wonderful people and act like a fucking idiot. That's me. If you want something else, our group is not for you.
That's it.
It's definitely not.
So we kind of did it a little backwards. So you gave the last word, but the real last word, I am going to go back into my archive because this is too good not to ask the question. So
Go ahead.
the old question, no context in this question. Real simple answer: pantsuits or skirts.
On a woman?
There's no context.
Oh, there's no context.
Skirts or pantsuits?
Skirts.
Okay, you are in the majority.
Yeah, I love a woman that I'm thrown as a woman. I love a woman that likes to express herself. You know what I mean? It's like, but you know what? I don't hold anything. No, I don't care. But for me, a woman in a skirt showing that she's comfortable with what she's in and can get into business and say, listen, I'm going to hang and bang with these fucking guys with dicks and I'm going to fucking prove myself. Fuck that. I'm in.
And that's fun. I you know what? That you're the first one that went that direction with it.
I don't give a shit. That's why it's
because
uncut.
my answer has always been pantsuits for the exact same reason that you just said, because I feel that a woman that can rock a pantsuit can rock a skirt if she wants to, but she is so confident in that pantsuit to be able to come in there, business. I'm here to do business. I can rock this and make you still love me for what I am, business-minded.
Well, Jimmy, that's what it's all about, is the comfort. So listen, whether they come in with a pantsuit, a skirt, a kilt, a fucking costume looking like a fucking unicorn, I don't give two shits. As long as they're in Johnny Smokes Uncut and showing that love, we love them. We don't give a shit. And listen, you know our group. You know me. I don't hold back on nothing. Nothing. Zero. Gets me in trouble a lot of times. but that's the way I roll. It's like, listen, come in with what you want. I don't give a shit. It's like, be part of the group. Look at these people right here. We got people from all kind of. This guy does this different. Look at Chigger is sitting over here. Chigger eats. He was. I don't know if you knew this, Jimmy. We got a celebrity sitting off to my right. Chigger was in Nathan's hot dog eating contest. Where'd you finish?
7th.
He finished 7th. This motherfucker ate a
How
bunch
many
of
hot dogs did he eat?
How many hot dogs?
32 hot dogs.
32 hot dogs. Here, Jimmy, let me show you.
In 10 minutes.
Hold on a
Look
second.
at this big bastard right here. And this is what, look at him.
Hold on. We're gonna keep this rolling. So, Chigger, how do you prepare for that contest?
We have hot dog season. There's a lot of training and practicing that goes into it, but it's, you work on your technique, your speed, your, capacity. So I've been doing it for a long time, eating hot dogs, training with my mentor. And, I've been last 4 years, I've gone to Nathan's and, so I'm about 30 plus hot dogs in competition, 40 plus in practice. So it's just, it's all about capacity, but I travel the country, eating food every week, and I just keep my stomach, stretched, and so I have the capacity.
Now, did you jump on the tectonic shift during that moment when they decided to take the roll and dip it in the water and dissolve it? Because before that, they were just trying to eat the hot dog, and then all of it was it chestnut or whatever. Who was it that started?
It was Kobayashi that changed.
Kobayashi, yeah, he just
over
said
a decade ago.
throw the hot dog down the throat, take the roll, mush it up, dissolve it, hot dog down the throat.
Definitely, I'm there. I eat 2 hot dogs at a time. I'm halfway through. I dunk my bun. And there's science behind that. So it takes the air out of the bun so you don't bring that air into your stomach. But I use extremely hot water and it breaks the starches down and it just turns it to mush. So in competition, you won't ever see me pick up a water unless I'm really in distress. But I use the buns to wash the hot dogs down. Liquid shot.
There you go.
Yeah.
On taking it to the nub, we're talking about
Jimmy, I'm just getting diarrhea just thinking about this shit. Oh my God. What is it?
Oh, sugary stuff.
No, here, give me this. Here, this is, guys, where you can find him, chiggereats.com. That's my boy right there, the Chigga.
I've been commenting in the live.
Wow.
Oh, he's been on your live off on the side commenting. But
okay.
Like I said, Jimmy, it's been a great show. And like I said, I feel fortunate and blessed that all these wonderful people aside of me who decided to come in here and hang out with us, because like I said, for everybody here, it's at least an hour away to be here. So that says a lot for the group that are here right now. And it says a lot. And we're going to thank Best Cigar Pub for having us here in-house. Laura, we love you, sweetheart. We love you.
I just want to say this. Same cigar, take it in the nub. We are at over 2 hours. This is the Casa Cuevas Patrimonio. This is a 2-hour Robusto. It's a fat Robusto, but it's a 2-hour Robusto that is just going to keep you enjoying it every way through. I mean, I can't
wait to try it, brothers.
So, Johnny and the team there, this has been a great show. I really thank you for coming on board. Number 4 for me, number 5 for you. 4?
No, I think we're at 4 each right now.
We caught up. All right. So
caught up, brother.
With that, we have hit a new time limit here on taking it to the nub. I don't normally do this, but the show just was too good. I knew it would be from the moment we got on and planning for this. I don't do if you notice, I don't sit back and do a lot of research on whatever I do. I just get the guest on, the guest starts talking, and I'll listen. And there's something that you'll say that'll trigger me to the next question, and we just keep it rolling. And you were so good. We just kept it rolling, so I appreciate that.
Well, Jimmy, I appreciate being on. And like I said, I'm speaking for myself and everybody here that was listening in, that we had a great time. We really did. And like I said, brother, I appreciate everything. First of all, I appreciate the invite. Second of all, I appreciate all the input that you put in, brother. We love you, man. Seriously. Now I'm super supportive of Taking 10 and Up, and you big time. Seriously.
I appreciate that. All right, I'm going to end the recording here. I'm going to stop the live stream. So you all have a great night tonight. Don't forget, tune in on this. You can catch this on YouTube live. If you haven't watched it, I'll be posting this out as a article on Stogie Press with the link so everybody can see it. And it'll be also posted out on Facebook with the link so people can catch up.